Hello, everyone, and welcome to another review. Today, we're going to be talking about a very old game called Lords of the Realm 2, made by Sierra, that no one is going to be interested in watching whatsoever. This is a game that we used to play back in our childhood.
I remember my childhood in Brighton.
And we really felt like talking about it and explaining or trying to explain why we like it so much. In fact, if you're interested, you can watch a Let's Play that I have done. In fact, it was one particular map. I think it was Quaintville. So yeah, this game is set in the Middle Ages. I think the year is supposed to be 12 something. I don't remember exactly when. The king is supposed
As
to be.
long as you mention the king is dead.
Yeah, the king is dead, and there are some pretenders to the crown that are uh,
Squabbling.
squabbling over land. Yeah, they are trying to become the king. And guess what? One of them is you. You assume the role of some kind of lord. It's not. It doesn't really have a background story for the main character. It's just you. And there are four other nobles that you have to defeat in several maps in order to become the king yourself. I think the strongest point of this game is easily its atmosphere. It really makes you feel like you are in those times in the Middle Ages. And I think the most important reason for that is the sound, the music, the voices of the characters, and also the graphics. I would say, like the cursor, um, everything, the colors, they feel like they are from those times. I don't know if you agree.
Well, I'm not sure if it feels like. I don't know what a medieval cursor looked like, but obviously, again, for the same reasons we like Star Wars and everything that's old and whatever you watch when you're a kid, is that was probably the first time you really interacted with something supposedly set in the Middle Ages. So that was your blueprint from then on to what the Middle Ages was supposed to feel like. That said, I just wanted to quickly correct you because you said this is a game we used to play in our childhood, but I still play it from time to time,
Yeah, me
and
too.
that's testament to how playable it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a very simple game, but there's virtually nothing annoying about it. But
Essen
yeah, I totally agree with you about the sound. The music is excellent. The voice acting is amazing. Especially the guy, your kind of assistant. How would you describe him? The narrator guy.
Slaughter these villagers. Exit the game, my lord.
Him. Basically, the medieval equivalent of your HUD.
Game essentially consists of two parts. The first part is where you get to see the counties that you control, and there you can select things like what you are going to cultivate in your fields. If it's going to be grain or cows, cattle, you can chop trees for wood. You can mine quarries for stone. You can build weapons using um, the resources that you yeah yeah
No.
using the resources that you have collected, and there you can actually attack other counties and other armies. When you do that, when there is a battle that is supposed to take place, the game changes, the game screen changes completely, and from turn-based that it is while you are managing your counties, it becomes real time. It's very reminiscent of games like Red Alert, perhaps even StarCraft. It's real time strategy. Now, I think
Mm.
that apart from the atmosphere, one of its other strongest points is the fact that I think it actually manages to combine the turn-based element with the real-time strategy element. What do you think?
Yeah, and it does. And I think the way it succeeds is through its simplicity. because essentially the battles come in two varieties: sieges and skirmishes. Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And that, I mean, all sieges are practically the same. I guess depending on the size of the castle, you're either attacking or defending. And then all skirmishes are practically the same. So, and the same goes for the counties. All the counties basically operate the same way. All levels just become more complex and more challenging in very straightforward ways, i.e., there's more nobles to fight, or there's more counties to conquer.
Hmm.
But it's not like AI changes really or becomes more difficult
No.
like that.
But
The progression is very linear.
there are other changes. Like for example, there are county because each county um, can can have can collect either no can collect wood, stone, and iron, but it has to be
Hmm.
at the most two of those three resources. So, for
Yeah.
instance, if you have a county that doesn't produce anything other than wood, then you have to buy the additional resources that you will need, iron, for instance, to build weapons, certain weapons. Otherwise, you can only create bows. If you have a woodcutter and a mine to mine iron, but you don't have a quarry, then it's very difficult for you to build a castle in order to defend yourself. So
Hmm.
it's also going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
No, you're right. But I mean, I guess my point was that it's similar. If you know the trick to the game, um, the there's virtually no challenge because all you have to do is make sure everyone's fed and then play the waiting game. Basically, wait till your population's up to a certain number, which means that you can build a big enough army. And once you have a big enough army, there's virtually no way of losing.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
in that sense, it's like playing Sudoku and an easy Sudoku because you know you'll get there, but it's just a pleasant pastime.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for me, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like feeling like I'm becoming stronger and stronger, and I don't
Hmm.
know.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it's the age-old question in gaming, where how do you exactly define difficulty and challenge with just broken and problematic, game mechanics? You know,
Mm.
for example, Caesar. If you compare it to Caesar, people can play Caesar. It's obvious. Just do a search on YouTube. But we've both tried playing it, and after a certain level, it just feels broken. It feels like it's not just hard; it's virtually not working
Not
anymore.
after a certain level, after the first level.
No, that's not true. But yeah, Lord of the Realms never feels like that. Everything seems to work smoothly on it.
Yeah. How many times do you think you have finished the game since you first played it,
Mm,
from start to
maybe
finish?
20.
Wow.
No, no, 20 is too much. Maybe 12.
Still a lot because there are a lot of maps to play in.
Especially with the addition, the
Yeah,
add-on.
I was going to ask you about that. What do you think of? I think it's called the Siege Pack or something. It
Yeah.
adds new maps and it adds some new elements, like, for example, new reasons for your fields to be destroyed, like locusts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was nice to have the extra levels, but it kind of ruined the atmosphere being in locations like Australia, which you knew had nothing to do with the Middle Ages.
yeah, true. Even though I think that the main campaign, well, yeah, actually it adds. I think the final map is the world. So
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel natural. And also, I mean, it would be interesting now that we're talking about it. It would be interesting to actually think a little bit objectively. And apart from what you said about the difficulty, which is true, and it has to do with the pretty pathetic AI, which seems to be a bit pre-programmed to do certain things in certain situations. Um, there are other, I guess there are other problems as well. For instance, And okay, this is a minor thing, but you're supposed to have mercenaries that you can hire,
Hmm.
and they are supposed to be of different nationalities. You have the Moorish archers, the Danish swordsmen,
Swordsman.
yeah, and the Burgundy axemen. But the problem for me here is, for instance, that despite their different nationality, it doesn't show. You don't see any difference in their appearance or even in their
Or their
voices.
accents when you, yeah,
Yeah,
when you click
yeah,
on them.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
However,
I
for
mean, that's,
yeah,
yeah, that's another example of just how simple this game is.
hmm there's also. I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but the campaign, it's supposed to have a story. The story is supposed to be that you are trying to be the king, but it's totally repetitive in the sense that, okay, you start the first map, you beat the first map, you become the king there, I guess. You see the video that you have won, and then it moves to a new map. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that. I think it's supposed to be that you go on your plan for world domination, because in fact, when you complete the game, it gives you a different message. It tells you, okay, you have managed to rule over all of Christianity. There's nothing else for you to accomplish. But I
Yeah,
think that perhaps there should have been more uh, some kind of,
continuity kind of.
yeah, sort of
Like you,
perhaps even a different video for each country or each map that you control.
yeah. Basically, if we'd played the game older, we'd probably think it's pretty bad because, as you say, it's extremely repetitive. Um, yeah, you're right.
No,
You're
I
right.
don't agree that we think it's bad. Obviously, if we played it now, uh, yeah, this game was released in '96 or something like that, so the graphics
Hmm.
are primitive for our standards. But I think that if at the time we were older and obviously less easily uh,
Impressed.
impressed, I think we would still like it because it has an element which I generally like in games, the feeling of becoming stronger. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
start from nothing and you can feel your power grow. You capture more counties, you get access to stronger castles, you have bigger armies with better weapons. You can train knights, for instance.
The illusion of achievement,
The illusion of
which is
achievement.
why games work. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. That coupled with the fact that the atmosphere is extremely immersive, and another thing I wanted to mention that the atmosphere is so immersive and so effective that you actually start to feel like for your peasants when they get sick with the Black Death or when they're unhappy because you haven't been feeding them or there's been too much war. I feel I feel for them. I don't want that to happen, and
hmm
that says a lot about just how well the game works.
But you know what? I feel myself that over the years this goes away. I see them more like they're not really
Pixels,
people. Yeah, it's just a number. Okay, you are supposed to have
of
1,000
course.
people in that county, and even the armies. I remember when I was a kid, I was trying to avoid any casualties whatsoever. Like I don't want to lose not even one.
No
Um,
man left behind.
yeah, something like that. Because I would feel sorry for them. I didn't want them to die. But now,
That was before your heart turned to coal.
exactly. Uh, but now I just don't care. I mean, now for me the only thing that is important is winning the map. When beating my opponents, even if
Hmm.
I lose a whole. For instance, you know what I do now? Uh, I use mercenaries a lot. I use them as cannon fodder, basically. Sometimes when I see being attacked by
Power corrupts, man. Power corrupts. What have you become?
when I see being attacked, when I see that I'm being attacked by a big army, what I do is that I hire mercenaries in order to attack this army, not with the intention of beating them, because there is no hope of beating them, but just to cut their numbers down. Can you say that?
For a second there, I thought. For a second there, I thought to myself, "What a loyal king! He doesn't care about his money. He's gonna hire mercenaries to save his own people."
Yeah, it hadn't crossed my mind at all that I'm just
Yeah.
doing it for my people. No, no. Even though, even to this day, I don't want them to, because in the game you have each county has a gauge that you can see how much the people love you. In fact, it has a
Hmm.
heart and it can be from 0 to 100.
For being on some chill
The
shit.
higher
Hmm.
the number, the more they love you. In theory, I think you can manage it even if the rate is, let's say, 70 or something like that. But no,
Hmm.
I want it to be 100 all the time. In that respect, I want to be.
Because it can never be 100 in real life.
So yeah, in that respect, I haven't really changed. I still want them to, and I don't think it has to do with practical reasons because yeah, it is good.
Don't
Even
they procreate faster though? If they're 100.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And of course, you can hire, you can not hire, but you can convert them to soldiers more easily that way. If they don't
Yes.
really love you, yeah. So
Because there's a limit. The more soldiers you take, the lower the happiness goes,
yeah,
and obviously can't go lower than 0,
yeah.
unless you're me.
And another thing, a question for you. I don't know if you ever do it. The computer does it sometimes. Scorched earth. That when they see that they're going to lose a county, because if your county has a love rating of 20 or below, I think it's 20 the limit, for more than four, I think it's more 4 turns or 3 turns, I'm not sure, then you lose control of that county. It becomes neutral. So
Hmm.
sometimes there's just no way to save a county because perhaps it doesn't have food and there's no way for you to get food for that county. So in that case, what the computer does is to actually take everything from that county, all the resources that it
Yeah.
has, and send it to another county that is safe and belongs to the noble. Do you ever do that? Or do you feel bad to, you know,
No, I
condemn
do
the
do
people?
that.
You do it? Okay.
Especially, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not sure this is possible, but I think it is, where you know they're going to win, so you don't want them to win all the resources, so you send the caravan off with all your food, metal, all that stuff. And also, you empty out the population by making a crappy little army, so that you know that when you go back to conquer them,
Yeah.
there won't be anyone there to fight.
Yeah.
And then you can resend the supplies, kind of.
Mm. Even though me personally, I really don't like losing counties. So generally speaking, I'm more of I think it's called turtling, that I like to have my one county or whatever, make it really strong, make sure that there's no
Hmm.
way of losing it, make a big enough army to capture another county and keep it, not capture it just for the
I
sake
know.
of it and then lose it the next turn or anything like that. So
That's
I'm
how I play all strategy games. That's the
mm,
only way I enjoy it. If
mm,
I feel like I'm building really solid bases, again, it's the illusion of progress and achievement.
yeah.
That look, I'm doing a good job. They're probably super glad I'm their king.
But generally speaking, especially if you're playing against another human, that doesn't work. For instance, in especially
Yeah.
in real-time strategy, but no, in fact, in all strategy games, if you do that, you're gonna lose. But of course, the computer is just stupid. Let's face it. If you build a royal castle in, even if you have one county, and the other noble has 10 counties or whatever, they just cannot. They can never bring you down because
Figure it out.
yeah, yeah. Because there is a trick for those of you that don't know it. If you have a royal castle full of, let's say, 600, in fact, you don't need that many. If you have something like 300, 400 archers inside, there is a way to place them in such a way that you don't lose anyone. The computer is that stupid that it basically just keeps attacking and attacking and just losing hundreds of men in the process. So this was our review of Lords of the Realm 2. Hopefully, there are people who will feel sentimental about this game if they have played it, if they had played it in their childhood. But who am I kidding? Nobody's going to be interested in this video. If you enjoyed this video, and I know you didn't, but if you did, exactly.
Dad, if you enjoyed this game in your childhood, in the 40s, if it took your mind off the war,
if any of you have played the game and if you enjoy the game, and if by some miracle you came across this video, please leave a comment. We would really appreciate it. And perhaps if you have a suggestion on another review to do, and if you want to join us and do the review.
in fact, if you want to do the review for us, because we can't be asked. YouTube has an upload button.
Thank you for watching, and see you around.
For watching.
Exactly. Take care. Bye.
Yeah,
Mr. No One.
Fuck being on some chill shit. We go 0 to 100, nigga, real quick. They be on that rap to pay the bill shit. And I don't feel that shit, not even a little bit. Oh Lord.